Back here on NFL Live, there's Ohio State receiver Carnell Tate arriving here in Indy today, the latest in a pipeline of great wideouts that have gone from Columbus to the NFL. I talked to him this morning and asked if he's getting any advice from any of his fellow Buckeye wide receivers.
I talked to Emeka. Emeka, the guy I talked to the most from the next level. He was a receiver, and then I would like to be like him, as successful as him. He went to Tampa and made an immediate impact.
What kind of advice has he given you?
He just said, be yourself. This is all you ever wanted. You've prepared for this. Coach Harper and Ohio State have prepared you for the moment. So go in there and be yourself.
What is it about Ohio State receivers? Why are all of you so good?
It's our mindset. Ohio State, we come into a loaded room, so you have to have a great mindset to believe who you are as a person, to believe you are that guy, you are the next person up.
Who are some quarterbacks that you would like to catch passes from?
And the next level, I like to play catch passes from like Pat Mahomes, Tyler Shuck, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, so all the great quarterbacks that's doing well for themselves. Caleb Williams back in Chicago, so yeah.
And Tyler Shuck.
Tyler Shuck. Okay, Tyler Shuck.
Not all of us
Second
paying
name.
very close attention. Which names did he list in what order?
He knows the order of the draft.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Tyler
Tate,
Shuck.
by the way, the highest drafted wideout in Mel Kiper Jr.'s mock draft, going 6 to the Browns. He's one of 4 wide receivers going in the first round of Mel's draft, with USC's Mekhi Lemon also in the top 10 to the Saints, followed by Jordan Tyson to the Ravens, Denzel Boston to the Bills. I mean, there's so much depth in this receiver class. Peter, what are you hearing about this receiver class just as a whole?
Deep. Like, there might not be your Julio Jones or A.J. Green, but deep. And so much so that I asked the GM, I said, lay it out for me. What's the wide receiver class? He said, there was 17 in 2022, and there were 17. There might be 20 this year in the first 3 rounds, meaning you might not get one of the top 3, you might not get one of the top 4, but we're talking rounds 2 and 3, that entire Friday evening at the draft. We might see wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. One name to watch on Saturday for the workouts is Brennan Thompson. He's out of Mississippi State, where he's number 0. He might have the fastest 40 time here and will challenge our guy, Xavier Worthy, for the fastest of all. 2-speed, Brennan Thompson, and he's not even being discussed as a first-round pick.
Yeah, I mean, you ask any SEC DBs trying to deal with him all year, it was not fun for them for sure. Field, how much does Carnell Tate stand out when you watch the film?
A lot, in a very, as Peter noted, a very stacked draft class for wide receivers. I got 42 wide receivers with a draftable grade this year, but Carnell Tate does stand at the very top because I believe he has a candidacy as being the most pro-ready prospect, regardless of position in the class. He's got such detail and discipline with his route running, and we don't scout the helmet in the world of football evaluation, but an Ohio State wide receiver gives you more confidence because of the legacy of players that have gone in recent first rounds, because they were coached by Brian Hartline. They obviously played in a particular system that required them to be as detail-oriented as Carnell Tate was. He had just 1 drop this past season as well. He has this unique ability to not strain at all. He just seems very much under control with everything that he does. Averaged over 17 yards per catch last season as well, and I do admire the humility of the player. He was never the guy at Ohio State, and it never really seemed to be an issue for Carnell Tate, who, like the rest of these Ohio State wide receivers, arrived to campus as this major splash recruit to land.
Yeah, Carnell Tate's my #1 receiver in the draft. He has that skill set that every NFL team wants, which is big playability at his size, too. And the thing that strikes me watching him on tape, on TV, you see some of those big plays and you wonder why he's so open. Then on tape, you see the way he sets up defensive backs with his head fakes, his footwork. He is a very polished route runner, particularly on those downfield routes that I found really impressive. Some of those throws, too, were underthrown, thrown behind him. I thought he did a phenomenal job tracking the ball deep. Great contested catch ability. You talked about the lack of drops, no drops at all on throws over 20 yards. So if I'm a team that really needs a true #1, he to me is the guy who can come in and make an impact immediately.
Field, what about Jordan Tyson? There's some questions about him, but the talent is there with what we've seen on the field.
If this draft were taking place a year ago, Jordan Tyson's going in the first 5 or 8 picks. The most explosive wide receiver in this year's draft class. Excellent size at 6'2". He goes up and gets the football. He's electric with the ball in his hands after the catch. A lot of things happened this past year. Sam Leavitt, not with the Arizona State program anymore. There's a quarterback change, and Tyson dealt with a hamstring injury throughout this past season. This is a unique way of talking about a player, but I think it's notable for Jordan Tyson. There were actually plays last year where the ball was not thrown to Jordan Tyson, a wide receiver. His job's to catch it, where I was most impressed by him. Yeah. He's got this incredible ability to separate both in the intermediate and downfield portion of the passing game. The help is going to be something that every team evaluates a little bit differently. That being said, I have a hard time imagining that he's not a top 15 pick based off of the talent and the character as well. This is a good young man who has explosive
Last year,
skills.
McMillan went first from all the wide receivers. Would he have gone before McMillan last
I think
year?
So. Yeah, and I love Tedero McMillan. But we're talking about a different level of athlete. So assuming you're comfortable with the health profile for Jordan Tyson, then I feel like this would be a player that would have been wide receiver 1 in last year's class. And by the way, McMillan, offensive rookie of the year.
Right. I mean, that's a great benchmark to think about. We're talking about one of the most talented, explosive receivers that we saw in this rookie class, and you would see Jordan Tyson ahead of him. I love it. So that's the draft, and teams have interesting questions here because they can get better at receiver in the draft, or Adam, they can go to the free agency market. Things could be different there. What does this all look like? Let's start with the news today about George Pickens and the Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys officially used their franchise tag on George Pickens. The tag this year is going to be just under $27.3 million. The two sides have until July 15th to work out a long-term deal. Until George Pickens signs that franchise tender or reaches a new deal, he cannot show up to the Dallas Cowboys, and there are people who believe that he will not be around for the offseason minicamp program. Meanwhile, one of the hottest free agent wide receivers out there is expected to be Alec Pierce, who's set to become a free agent next month. Now, keep in mind, the Colts want to keep Daniel Jones. They also have Alec Pierce becoming a free agent. If they can find a way to get a deal done with Alec Pierce, then they could potentially tag Pierce. But if they can't get a deal done with Jones, that would allow Pierce to get to the free agent market, a place that Mike Evans will be. He is becoming a free agent. He's talked to Tampa at these combine meetings here. He's spoken to all the other teams. He's allowed to become a free agent. He's allowed to leave. There are a lot of teams around the league that could use a wide receiver like Mike Evans, who's been a free agent before. The question is he willing to walk away from the franchise where he spent his whole career, where he's got meaningful ties and connections? There are questions about that, but his agent clearly has been here monitoring the market and seeing how much activity there could be for a player like Mike Evans.
Hard to imagine him in anything except a Buccaneers uniform, but certainly something to keep an eye on here. And by the way, free agency just around the corner. We'll have you covered on all that as Adam Schefter, of course, a centerpiece of all that coverage and all the breaking news that will come your way. We got more here from Indy. When we come back, we're diving into Mel Kiper Jr.'s safety, going number 2 overall in his latest mock. So why on earth does Lewis not see Caleb Downs as a dynamic difference maker? We find out. That's next. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is what it looks like behind the scenes here at the Combine. We got Duncan on the camera. Heading down there to see some of the DBs on the field. Tight ends take on a little bit later. And he's navigating those steps with a camera in hand.
Well done.
I'm nervous.
You might need to put Duncan out on the field and see what his 40 time is. We'll be right back.
Still in the air.